I'm here with Ketty Lollia. Welcome to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast here on the Rusty Diamond Podcast Network. I'm Rusty, and I am here. I'm switching up how I'm saying everything. I just went right into introducing the person before we even go. So, thank you for being here, Ketty, and I'm happy you are here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. How is your morning? Morning, still morning, late morning, correct?
Yes, it's still in the morning here. Well, it's good. I am in Spain, so it's
Yep.
really hot at the moment. So,
So,
except that, everything is all right.
what are you doing to beat the heat?
Well, mainly I go in the water because I love water.
Yeah.
So the sea, the swimming pool, mainly the sea. And otherwise, here we have the siesta. So it means
Okay.
between 2 and 3, 4, most of the people are sleeping. You need to keep everything down, the the sound and everything. Yeah,
That's why I'm doing this right now. It's 4 o'clock right now, so I'm inside with some air conditioning and stuff, and yeah, I get you on that one. And so
yeah.
I was gonna ask you, what do you do when you come out of the sea, out of the ocean? Uh, what do you do to get the sand off of you, and how much sand comes off of you, and how much sand do you carry with you for the rest of your life? How much sand never leaves?
Sand. Well, the funny part is this: the sea that is next to me is with stones.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
pretty nice.
yeah, I really love it because we in Spain you have different, or you have the stone, or you have the sand. And I was going to the sand beach because I think it's because we know, and it's just normal to have sand.
Yeah,
Uh, and then I discovered this place where I'm living now, and the stone had something particular. When you want to lay down on the beach,
yeah.
it's just normal. And then when you have stones, you need to move the stones to make your own bed.
I like that. I like that a lot. So,
Yeah,
where was the beach you first went where you didn't have sand, where you had some stones? Where was that?
yeah. Well, that was here in Albia. The name is Albia. So it's between Alicante and Valencia in the middle, in Spain. And
Oh, okay.
um, and when I came there, it was stones.
Yep.
First reaction, stones. Okay. And then you go there and you feel the stones when you walk, on the foot. It hurts. Then I bought some shoes for walking on the stones, and suddenly it became, but I can walk just like on the sand now.
Well,
And and I think also what I liked at that moment, I was looking for ways to calm myself down. And then when you are on the beach, you can just lay down and wait, like
right.
study, becoming study, but I don't need that. uh, what I liked was taking stones and drawing on them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, like with a pen or a paintbrush or something,
yeah,
or what
pain.
what do you like to paint on the rocks?
Yeah, it depends. At the beginning, it was more. I found it really interesting to let messages to other people and positive messages. So know that you are beautiful, things like that. And then I would just draw next to it, or a heart, or a house, or you know, um, a stone to keep and to know that you are wonderful as a person,
Yeah.
whatever someone is saying you. So I found it really nice to do that at the beginning.
So then, are you just expecting people to pick these stones up, or do they stay there for a little bit, or are they sort of hidden away? I tried this last summer. I was making these stones. I was in a pretty rural place, but I would paint these stones and then I would put them out somewhere, but then someone would always take them. I had a thing on the back for people to take a picture of it and upload it to a website, but no one ever did that. So I have no clue where the rocks ended up. I don't know if they just got thrown away or, they're in someone's possession somewhere. But um, do you see yours around, or are they usually gone pretty quick, or are you just happy that they're out there?
Well, I had different approaches. I think at the beginning it was more about uh, who, whoever finds it was meant to find it. So it was, and it was not really about me, but more about spreading love outside. So at the beginning, I just made them and put them. I remember that sometimes I would put them really visibly, and I'm waiting to see if someone would come along and take them. And so I did experience that someone would find it and say, "Oh, what nice," and then take and pick it up and then looking around and walking away. But I never thought about making videos or whatever because it was really at that moment also for me, therapeutic moments where I was feeling connected with myself because when you draw, you are just gone. You
Right.
are busy making something, and even if you write a text, you try to make it beautiful. You chose the colors, and then I would spray them so that it would stay longer. Then at the point, I also made a site like a page, and if you find
Oh,
it, make the picture. But I only had two people who made the picture and who did it, and
okay.
I suppose more than two found it, but not more than two wanted to do it. And for me, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's about spreading love, and it doesn't cost me anything. And at that moment, it even gives me something. It gives me peace, and it gives me also the feeling that I do something good for someone. For example, when you walk on the street and you see someone who has a beautiful face, n- n- lots of people don't say that it's I go to this person and say, "Oh, you are beautiful," So then this person knows, and I said also my thing, so I have my peace. I don't need to tell you you are ugly. By the way, I don't think that people are ugly, but giving something as simple as a compliment is can make the day of someone.
Right. Change a whole bunch for someone. That can change way more than a day for someone, giving them a compliment. A lot of people, who knows when the last time they got a compliment was about anything, or who knows the last time they picked up a rock that had a message on it. And were you always an artist of some sort, or were you doing other art before you got into the rock game, or was it
No,
what was it?
yeah.
What were you doing before you became a professional rock artist?
Yeah, as artist, I was a professional dancer for many
Okay,
years, and the type of dance that I was doing was street dance and modern dance, and jazz and Afro. So it was a mix, and I did that for more than 10 years, I think. And I was professional. We went outside my country, so I come from Paris. I was born there in France, and from there we would go to other countries to dance to present our show. I really enjoy that. It's a movement, the movement of the body, listening to the music, connecting with the music, connecting with yourself, being away from the problems. There is no problem when you dance, only enjoying the moment. And when you are professional, then you need to have a little bit of technique, so work on that and become better and all the things. So that's another story. But the basic was I loved dancing, and then a professional saw me in a workshop, dance workshop, and asked me if I was in a group, and then I said no. So then they invited me, and then 1 month later, I was dancing with them and going on to. So it was, yeah, I wasn't.
what was the first place you went to uh, and performed in? Like, what was the first venue or space that you were performing in with them?
Well, in France, in many places, we went to many places, but as another country, uh, we made the trip. The first trip was going to Sweden.
Okay,
So we
well,
were
like,
invited for 4 days and danced
well,
2 times. And that was really, I was like, oh my goodness, this country that was so clean, you know. In Paris, I came from Paris, so in Paris it's not dirty, but it's not clean. We
okay,
have our little cars coming and cleaning the street every once in a while, every week. But you there, it was the people were disciplined, you know. So if they had a paper, you wouldn't find it on the ground. They would just throw it in the in the trash. So
yeah,
it was trash bin. So I really love that. I really love discovering new countries, new people, new way of thinking and being or behaving, and especially behaving, because I think that mostly we think, yeah, that is like this, you know. For example, education need to be like this, you need to do like this, but in fact it's just one country, one culture, one field that think like that. And then when you move and you go to another place, you discover that the people act completely differently, but for them it's normal to do that. And for us, it's a little bit abnormal. And coming from, from Guadeloupe, which is a French island in the Caribbean Sea, um, we also had another culture than the French one. So that's what I really enjoyed with traveling and dancing. It was discovering new ways of thinking from new other people at the same moment.
yeah. So, what was the place you were like dancing at? Was it like an outdoor uh, performance, or
Y-
was it like inside in a theater, or was
Yeah,
it okay?
yeah.
Was it in a
Mainly it
theater?
were in theaters. Uh, the one we went in Sweden, that was a festival that was taking place in the summer for many days. I think it was 1 week or something, or 2 weeks, and then there you had a podium, and it was installed just like in a theater, but then outside, you know, a festival. But then it's for dancing, so the people could sit. So they had really prepared that beautifully.
Yeah.
And one of my best experience, that was, we went to Sarajevo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it
and it were
Bosnia? Or,
not even 1 year after the war. It was
oh,
within that year, and
okay. So like, yeah,
yeah,
back in the '90s, back like
yes,
'93, maybe something like that.
yeah, 90s, in the 90s,
Somewhere. Okay. I don't know if that's the right year. '95,
yeah,
maybe
around
somewhere.
that time,
Okay.
and
Oh,
it was wonderful because it was horrible. I mean, the whole trip to go there, for example, we couldn't go in that country. We needed to go in the other country, and then from that country, travel in a bus in the night to arrive to the place where we were dancing. Nah, the bus was driving roads. I mean, you would look outside, you saw just, it was a hole, you know? So we were like, okay, I'm not watching. I'm just sleeping, and I see if we arrive. So that was that tricky. We were controlled a lot also, you know, on the way, stopped by the police to check if everything was all right, if we were legally there or whatever. And then when we arrived, it was impressive because, yeah, the Sarajevo, that's where the war was. So you had holes in the wall, walls, in the buildings were destroyed. So that was quite impressive. And we were in an hotel. Even that hotel was a really great hotel, you know, a 5 star, but still, we had suffered a lot from the war. So there was a part usable and the other part not. That was, but when we met the people, it was just so weird. They were all smiling, and it was like, you see how it is to survive something really hard, and then being enjoying life, just being happy to live and to have still your family and to be able to eat again and to build again. And they were really smiling, happy that we were there, and we were to they had organized different days in the opera, so we
Okay.
danced in their opera, and
Wow.
it was just so beautiful to see how the people were thankful that we dare coming to their country to give a show. So they were really like, "Oh my, you came!" So thankful.
So who booked that? Who was it the government that brought you in, or was it
Yeah.
okay, so were you like in the capital then, and
No, no,
or
no. We were no. It was just it was the government has organized that, but it was also with the idea of telling them we can rebuild again. Let's not forget the past, but let's build again. So that was the idea, and it was organized in Sarajevo. But for what I understand, then later they organized it again because it was more like a remembrance of, yeah, we came out of it and we are still alive. So let's continue to enjoy and build life again. So we didn't go to the capital. We did meet some people, but hey, I was a dancer, so that was all organized by my choreograph and by our manager. You know, we had so they were busy with that, and I was just busy with the nice part, which was learning to dance, enjoy, and doing the show and having the claps and the people happy.
yeah. So I mean, what do you think when you heard you're getting booked there and you're going over there? Were you excited, or were you a little
Uh,
scared, or was it
yes, I was scared.
okay?
Um, at that time, I was 19, 20. So
Oh,
it was like, oh, wow, is it where the war happens? Are we going there? So then you begin to look for information. At the time, not as easily as nowadays, but
right.
uh, uh, but it was also really with the our choreograph was clear. We are going there to give them some hope, and with that idea, you just think, oh wow, it's wonderful that we are being chosen to bring some hope and some peace and some love to people, that so that they trust us enough to ask us to come. So it was unexpected, and it was scary, but at the same time we knew we were doing it for something good.
Like the rocks,
Yeah.
like the rocks that
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
eh,
Yeah.
So were you painting and drawing back then, or was this? Did you just start this when you saw a rock one day and you said, "I'm gonna start painting and drawing on this," and that was
Yeah.
never something you did before? You were
Yeah. In
always a
fact,
body artist,
when I came the first time to Spain, well, not the first time, but before moving, I was born in Paris, and then I lived for 15 years in the Netherlands, and then from the Netherlands I had a depression, and then at that moment I decided I'm going to Spain to heal myself, and I had a friend in here in Spain who was artistic but was not using herself. She was not trusting herself in the things that she could do. You know, the traumas, the things that the people say you cannot draw, so she stopped. And I was in a complete restructuration of myself and saying we need to go back to our passion, we need to go back to our heart to find what is important there, and then bring it out again, because I was a dancer, and when I did that I was enjoying life, I was earning money, I was meeting new people, everything, and I was aligned also within me. And I began, and then we were together, and I was explaining how I was rebuilding my life, and she said, "Oh, but you know, I loved painting when I was a child." And I said, "Why don't you do it now?" She said, and that was the whole story. Yeah, but I don't know, blah blah blah. So we went together. We bought some things and we began to draw, and she was really directly inspired. So, and I couldn't really draw really good, so I was like, okay, what am I going to do when we are in that moment? Because I also want to enjoy, and and then we went together to that beach, and I said, I know what I want to do. I want to draw on stones. So then I took some stones and then we went home and then we began to draw. She was really great. She made some beautiful stones, even stones, with messages, but beautiful. So that you have different stones and you are drawn to one stone with colors or with whatever she had done. And then behind there was a word. And that word, like the tarot card, for example, that word was an inspiration for the people. So that was great how she did it. She inspired me, and then I was doing more and more and more. And at the point I said, I'm going to put them. And I said, "Oh, that's a great idea." So we went together, and she did it also a little bit. So it was all built from, when you are a child, we are enjoying a lot of things, but at the same time, they are learning us how to fit in the society. And often what we learn and what we love, well, that was in that time. It's yeah, but you're not going to make money with that. Oh yeah, no, don't do that. Oh, be serious, so kind of things. So she had experienced that a lot. And in my case, my mom was, what? That's your life. So if you go to if you study, you study. If you don't, you don't. That's your life. So that's you who need to build it. So it was harsh at that moment, but it gave me the possibility to choose whatever I wanted to do. So in that case, for me, it was just flowing naturally that the things that I wanted to do, I was just doing them. So for me, it was strange that the other people were not doing that. And my friend, I said, "Wow, if you love drawing, you should do that." And now she gives a workshop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so, I mean, are you finding yourself drawing elsewhere other than rocks, or are you strictly uh, drawing and painting on rocks, or are you going to other? Are you on paper, or are you doing any digital art, or is that like you have your lane, or do you uh, or have you found a way that the dance and the art have gone to that part of the art, the rock painting? Is there a way where those two overlap, or is it still like
I
very
would
very
say
different?
for me, everything overlaps, because I am everything. So I am the dancer, and I am the one drawing on rocks, and I am the one going in the sea and floating and loving that. So we can't be everything, and I think that's for me how the stone would still fit in my life. It's not that I do it still really often. I just now when I go to the beach, I may do one or two, but also do nothing. Before it was really more like I go and I take the stones and I draw there and I draw home. So it was really coming in. I began also to try to do it on paper, but uh, I think when I was young, I had a aunt who could draw so beautifully faces, and it was really you could recognize. But she gave up, and then I was drawing with her, and I was realizing, okay, I will never be someone who draw like Rembrandt. So I need to become someone maybe who do lines and things like that. So that's what I was trying. I did with points, a little bit trying all types of draw. But I realized that there were other things that I also like to do. For example. Um, how do you call that? We have a painting that you can put some little stones on it, and then you recreate a painting. So I found that also interesting. So I went and I bought a lot of them, and then doing them, and then they are finished, and then I give them away, and then I go and I buy another one, and then I try. So I found myself doing that a lot also. Um, and what I like to do was also walking. So for me, going in the nature, being lost in the nature. being there, feeling the energy, feeling the trees. So I kind of move a little bit around the things that I liked, and to try to find the best one for me. So I bought also instruments. I love, we have, where I come from in Guadeloupe, we have what we call gros car, and we have then a drum. So I bought a drum, and when I was there, and I come back, and I played music. Now I'm singing also. So it's more about finding out all the things that I was as a child, and that I say, oh no, I cannot do that because the people say you cannot, or you are not good, or whatever. And now trying them again. Now thinking, you know what? Now I decide for me. I For 50 years I gave everything to everyone, what they wanted, and now I give to myself the possibility to experience and to see what fits me or not. So making the rocks, it was fitting me really for 2 years. I was completely busy with that, and at a point it just went a little bit less, and then other things could arise.
So,
They
floating in the water. What's going through your head, or is nothing going through your head? Are you just there in the moment, taking in the sun, or are you? Is that where you can do your thinking, or is that where absolutely nothing happens but you recharge?
when I am on the beach, you mean?
Yeah, or like floating in the water, like whatever you're doing. If you're at the beach, if you're laying on a rock, or
Yeah.
if you're out in the water, like
Yeah.
floating on your back.
Yeah, well, I had depression in the Netherlands, and when I came back from the depression, it was for me. I need to find a way to not fall back into that depression. So how do you do that? And I am a life coach, so really had diploma qualification, life coach, NLP therapist, stress, burnout, and depression coach, and I learned a lot of things, science of movement, but I still get the depression. So it was for me interesting to see. Wait a minute, I have all the knowledge for how don't you do that? Don't you? And then I still went there. So I wanted to understand what happened. And what I do now is using all those moments to be in the present, to be there, to feel my body. So for example, if I go and float in the water, it's all about me and the water. So how do I connect with the water? I can swim, but I can try to float, and I really enjoy that moment of discovering, in fact, how you can play with gravity in the water. Because generally we go there and we play or we swim and then we go out, but finding ways to use the less muscle possible, for example, being in the water, floating, and being connected with myself. So wisdom, that moment, how can I make sure I stay? How can I make sure I can stay 1 hour, for example, floating? How can I make sure that, oh, I just want to use that muscle? How is it going to be? Oh, I'm drowning. Okay, this muscle is not the good one. Let's use another one. So a little bit like that is really being present with myself, with my breath, with my body, because we don't do that. We are always busy, 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 going, and especially the people who have the work from 9 to 5. You just wake up. You are like a robot. You do your thing. You come back at 5. You think, oh yeah, but I need to do the groceries. I need to cook. And if you have children, and if you have a husband or a wife or whatever, you always have things to do. And what we never do is taking the agenda and putting me time and saying this is important, and not only me time, I put it, but then if something happens it goes away, but then that it takes as much importance as an appointment with the doctor, because in fact you can heal yourself, but if you never take the time to be with yourself, then you will need way more doctors, for example. So there is a kind of balance to find, and I would say that's what I was looking for, because I had this balance when I was a dancer, but I didn't know. I was just dancing and enjoying and eating good food, having good friends because they were all interested in the same thing. No drama. lifestyle normal. I have ADHD, but my lifestyle when I was a dancer was perfect. I was moving, I was eating, and I was doing things that I liked. The moment you begin to work, then you don't, you are not always doing things that you like. So
What'd you do right after you stopped dancing with them? What was your first career job, whatever move right after that?
well, while I was dancing already, my first job before, because my first job was when I was 16, it was working with old people. I went to an hospital and I was working there with helping them. I love that. I love giving back. So that's what I did. Just after being a dancer, I created an association, and it was with the idea. I received so much from the choreograph. I received so much knowledge about the body, about how to move, how to be yourself, that I wanted to give it back. And it felt like now it's my, I, I am a transmitter, like it came to me and I need to give back to someone else. That paid forward story a little bit. Well, that
Yeah.
was my idea. So they were living in Paris. We have in the north of Paris 93 districts, and this one is really heavy. The people were fighting. We had lots of problem at that time, and that's where I was dancing. So there I created an association, and I said to the young people, "Well, come to the association. You will dance. You will be able to write or to sing." And then we had like 100 children coming a year, and then
Wow.
giving them lessons and then learning them, in fact, that they were beautiful how they were, and that they had talent, and that they needed to use the talent, that didn't need to lose themselves in the talent. Always keep in touch with the reality. So you are living in Paris, so you will need to earn money, but you can also, while you are doing your things or going to school, create your own life so that you are happy, so that you can do both. And important was study, because in France we have a little bit that if you don't have your diploma, you are nothing. So the children which are Muslim, or the one black, or the Chinese, that was easy because the parents were really clear, you need to study. But in the other culture, it was more like they don't see us, they don't like us, blah blah blah. So then I created the association. I say, you come, and then I say, I see you, I trust you, so now you need to give it back. So then, if one, for example, wanted to stop school, we always had, you don't continue here if you don't tell us what are your plans, because stopping school is the easiest way, but then you need to create a life for yourself. So it was really like thinking about how can I make sure that other people are having the same experience than me in life, is trusting that you can do something, and that what you do can bring you where you want to be, but you need to do it.
So when these kids weren't wanting to go to school, were you then just were you saying, okay, but then here, like, this is what you naturally do, but let's focus on that and get you going on that, and don't try to fight going upstream somewhere. Just sort of point your toes down,
Yeah,
just go
you
down
know,
and
when that's the thing, that when you begin to work with them, it was they come for dancing, so we give them dance. That's already something, because you are busy with yourself, you are learning to move, you are learning your own body, you are learning to work together with other people, because they were also giving some shows. So I also brought them to different places in France to, yeah, to just show themselves. So then you learn also to work together, you learn to respect the other, you learn that even if it is not your friend, you can still work together because you have the same goal. In my idea, it was one person is coming, if it's new, all the other need to help him. So I was trying to learn them more than uh, only dancing and only going to school. It was about, yeah, emotional intelligence. how do you deal with the problem. So and then the idea was that if you stop school, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do because it's your life, but I want to know what are your plans because I was a dancer and I earned my life like that. So I danced, I earned money, and I created the association. And for 10 years, I was continuing doing that. But I had money, and they thought, well, I can be an artist. I said, no, I cannot tell you if you can be because you need to work on that, and then later maybe something will happen. But you need to first begin. I didn't become a dancer without that. I was already at home training all days, listening to music, being here on the street and dancing and doing my things. I needed to do something. So I was learning them that even to be there, to become an artist, there is work to do and there is that trust that you need to have in yourself. So that you have it for dancing. I went to the university also. So I had my diploma at the university. So I was showing them that it was not only one part. You can use your body for your passion, but you can also use your head for your passion. I had studied marketing. So for me, it was look at what you can, look at what you love, and let's build on that. And then you can see later. And going to school, that's the other story that most of the people don't see. I mean, when you live there and then you have a family with 2 or 3 brother or sister, and then they go to school and they come back and they don't have a place to study, so they don't know how to do it, and then they go back and they have bad grades because they didn't have the time, because they needed to take care of the brother, or they needed to cook, or they were the one taking care of the grandma. So you have so many stories behind what they are doing. So from those stories, it was also giving them possibilities to find other ways to come out of this. So for example, yeah, there are people at home, but you can come to that place, or you can go to the library, or you can make an appointment with a friend, and then you can. So for them, it was more also, how do I deal with the difficulty of life? So you explain me, and then I tell you, this is how I did it. And look, for you, it's not your family is not a problem. It's not a problem, your brother and sister. The problem is that you make them a problem. So there is a solution, but if you make them the problem, you focus only on the problem. If you then think, okay, then I can do that, or I can do it at school, or then you find solution and there is no problem.
Yeah, and then so what happens when people start getting solution based as opposed to problem based? Like where's the switch usually with someone? What's that aha moment for someone where they switch from thinking everything's a problem to thinking, okay, well, I need to do something different to, because this isn't working.
Well, I think in the case of the children, um, it was from especially having someone who trusts them. That was it. So for them is, generally you do your thing and then your parents say, oh, you have bad grades, or you shouldn't be emotional, or don't be such so when we hear those kind of things, we lose our own self-confidence. And but we still can do the things, but we are just not confident enough to do it. So I would say that's what it brought them, the possibility, the fact that someone was seeing them and saying, no, you can do that. You can trust the experience. So it means go for the experience, then you will know if you can, if you like, if it is for you, if it's not. I think that was the biggest, because with the children, in some ways, and they were between 14 and 25. So 25 is not anymore children, but we are all dealing with the fact that we need a little bit more of self-confidence. And when you get that, you just flow and you learn to deal. It's because you don't trust that you can do it, or that you can become something better than your brother or your parents or your friends. So then when you believe that, you don't. But at the moment, someone is telling you, yeah, yes, yes, you are smart. Yeah, wow, you can have such a grade, then you begin to look differently at yourself. So with the children, it's easier, I would say. With the adults, we have too much stories. So sometimes the adults may need a life coach, a psychologue, or whatever to go through it, because we believe the stories that we have created in our head like 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and that is more difficult. So if I tell you, yes, you can't do it, and you already believe for 20 years that you can't, you are going to fight me instead of going inside and look for the answer and look and ask yourself, why do I believe that I cannot do it?
Yeah, and so like, what was the work that you had to go through to figure that out for yourself?
Well, the biggest was my depression. I think the body is always telling us something. So my body was already telling me, you need to pause and to reflect on what you are doing, and I didn't do it. So I was pausing at the moment I was sick, but as soon as I was not sick anymore, I was again up and top. How did I do it? My body killed me. It just say, you stay here. So for 2 days, for example, I woke up in the morning and I couldn't move from my hips down. 2 days. I was like, and then I went, oh, how am I going to walk and to do and to blah blah blah, So suddenly it happened. But the moment I began to walk again, I went back into doing the same again. So my body was trying to tell me, and the depression, I think, was really that moment that I realized I'm helping people not from their depression, and I'm able to fall into that. I am a joke. So I'm going to now look at myself before I even, I mean, you can climb here, and when you are here in the middle, you still can help the people there. But I was, no, 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 I need to help myself here to fill my cup. And then when I'm here, I will continue my work. So I still help people, like people that you meet and they have a question. I will answer. But it was more like I need to focus on being the best version of myself that I can be. And now I'm just a shadow of what I can be. And that's why I get my depression. It was my body telling me, Katie, what are you doing? You can do better. And you now continue to do things for others. So that was my wake up call. And that was the moment where I decided from that depression, when I began to come back, they wanted to give me medicine. And then I said, but I'm not going to take medicine, because otherwise I'm not going to feel what I feel. But I couldn't feel anything. I was just brain dead. I wanted to kill myself also at that moment. So I took them for 3 months, and then I built. I stopped. So you need to stop 1 week and 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
so that's when I went to Spain to stop them. And I said, I don't want to be dependent on medicine. I want to be dependent on myself. I want to understand myself. I want to feel what I feel and go through it. And I think that's that. The depression was my start to begin to see how I was sometimes lying to myself, in fact, how I was not taking care of myself, how everyone else was more important than me. So I needed to realize that, because I had hit the bottom, and at the moment I hit the bottom, I lost everyone. So even my family was not there to be found. My friends were not there to be found. Had really big problems with my work. And when I built a back, I said, okay, this is, I was juggling with a lot of things. And then I said, okay, no, this one not. Okay, this one I'm going to see how it fits my life. And that's how I work on myself. I just took each element that were in my life and ask myself, why is it in my life? Why do I keep it in my life? Is it bringing me something or not? Is it killing me, or is it helping me grow? And from there, I made choices. That's why I made the choice also to leave the Netherlands, because although I liked the country, I I didn't understand the mentality of the people there. For me, French, I was a dancer, I was an artist, so I was like over the place, and I didn't find that a problem. But there, It was a problem. You needed to fit in a box, and I was just unable to fit that box. And I fought for 15 years, but instead of thinking, okay, I don't fit the box, I take my stuff and I go, I continue to fight, fight, fight. That's why I had the depression. So then I needed to look at myself, to look at my fear, to realize that I had the fear to just move again, fear to being judged, there were too much fear. So I went into my fears and I look at them seriously, like, why do I fear that? How can I make sure that I don't fear that anymore? So it became a healing journey. I call my healing journey the alchemist journey, because I really took my stuff, sold my house, in my car. I went on the road, and I stopped where I was feeling that I needed to stop, and that was also revealing, because when you go on holidays with friends or with family or whatever, you have the feeling that you are on holiday, that you are deciding, but in fact you kind of fit the group. So
Right.
some decisions are being made by others and you say okay or whatever, but the day I took my car and I was alone and I was there and I said, okay, where am I going? Then you are facing yourself. And that was really the best moment. Taking that moment for myself, being there, deciding that's where I stopped, that's where I go, that's where I eat, that's what I love to do now. I go on the beach. I'm going to learn to float. I couldn't swim, in my head I couldn't. I was sure
Yeah.
I couldn't, but then I decided, okay, I'm not afraid of water. I love water, so I'm just going to build up and then swim, learning to swim, learning with my body. So I just built up again, step by step, looking at each part of my life and saying, do I like this part or not? Why do I keep it?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those rocks are for other people, and that's okay. There's a lot of rocks in the world, and you
Yeah,
have yours. You've pulled yours from everywhere, and you've gotten to paint on the ones you want to keep. You painted
yeah,
on some of the ones you didn't want to keep. You let them go, but you're still painting your rocks. You're still collecting your rocks, and there's something about being able to do all of that and have that choice every time of,
yeah,
well, this is what I want to do. Like, this is, there's no one telling me otherwise. It's like, this is, I'm going to do this. You know, if I had one place I wanted to go in the world, or one thing I wanted to do, one thing I wanted to stay, that's where I'm going. That's where
yeah.
you're going. That's where I want to do this. And so, I hope more people get to do that. And if they want to learn how to do that or figure it out, how do they find you? How do they work with you? How does that all work?
For me, working with me. Well, I'm creating now the school method for life, and the idea of the school is remember who you are, and remember who you are. It has to do with who you were as a child before you began to change or to adapt yourself for the system. And then through that school, I propose mirror based therapy. So it's a new type of therapy. It has to do with showing you who you became, so that you are able to come back. Because if you don't know who you are, it's difficult to be back to who you were. So I propose therapy one-on-one and a workshop. I do a lot of workshop also to learn to the people the communication, because it's a big problem. If you when you cannot communicate with others, is also because you don't communicate good with yourself. Like we say, oh, be nice with others with your words, but mainly when you are not nice with your words with someone else, is because you are not nice already with yourself. It begins with yourself. So learning the people how to deal with that. And I am online also, so that's where they can find me, if they can find the activities that I propose on Facebook. But mainly it is to I'm building the school, but I love more the contact. You know what I mean? So meeting someone and trusting that there is a reason why we meet each other, because I believe in something more, in the fact that we are in fact all consciousness. So if we are consciousness, in everyone there is a piece of consciousness. And
Yeah,
if I meet you, there is a reason. If I dislike you, there is a reason. You are only the messenger, and the message is, why do I dislike you? So that's what I'm learning also to the people, to realize that life is in fact built in the way that we see it and that we create it. So how can you learn to learn who you are so you are able to change your own life instead of trying to do it from outside? I learned them to do it from the inside.
I mean that's the only way to do it. And I mean
Yeah,
person that we encounter, every person we encounter that makes us upset, uh, is also something that we need to change in ourselves.
exactly.
It's the reason that we're getting upset at them. It's like, okay, well, that's why this person showed up. That's something that we
Ex-
need to work on. Don't put that
yeah,
away. Don't run from that. That's something. Then that's when they go and they
yeah,
talk to you, and they go, why is this person making me feel this way? Well, here you go. Here's what we do. Here's how we work on that. How we make your
yeah.
life working easier.
It's facing it instead of, because for example, I know a lot of people who speak about, oh, you need to learn to put your boundaries, and I agree with that because I had no boundaries, so I needed to learn to do that. But at the same time it became so much boundaries that you refuse the experience, like, oh no, I don't like his energy, so I don't go. Oh no, she said that, so I don't go. And without realizing that in fact this is not boundaries, this is your ego trying to protect yourself from a story that you told him that everyone like this is not good. But in fact, the moment I felt I was okay, I know I need to go. You annoy me, you say this, you do, but I need to go. I need to understand, and I need to not put it on you because you are only the messenger. So it's not you who annoys me, it's the energy that is within and that triggers my own. And then I want to understand, not you because you are just the messenger, but understand why me is reacting on you.
Right.
And I remember that there was a real good example that I heard, and I was like, oh, yeah, that is it. If someone tells me I am an ugly white woman or an ugly white man, I say, oh, okay. But when someone would tell me, oh, you are a black woman, I would, and what? And so I was like, okay, there is something there. So I had my own trauma to work on, and that was the trauma of slavery, the diaspora story, because I come from Guadeloupe, French island. Uh, but I needed to realize that it was not about, someone being racist and, you are racist. And then I was making it like this without realizing that it was me reacting on him. So it was about me loving my color. It was about me loving that I was a black person and don't care anymore about what someone else would say. Now, when someone say, "Oh, you are really black," oh, the sun is working, I say, "Yeah," and you, So then you change the story, but you need to look at yourself and not me, because I cannot change the racist person, but I can change me. And when I change me, what happens is these racist people, I don't meet them anymore because they don't belong anymore to my story.
Yeah, their energy goes elsewhere when that happens. Like there's other places for that to go. Like you've learned it, and like what you think is what you attract.
Yeah,
Uh, and like if that's not in you anymore, then it's not going to be around you. And I think that's something that people need to know. Like that's the way to get working on it. The way to figure it out, yeah, is to there's your $1 million advice to everybody right there. So thanks for dropping that. And yeah, thank you so much for being on today. And I enjoyed getting to talk with you and get to where we got to. And I didn't know we were going to get there. So thank you so much for that. And I hope you go out and you go float after your siesta. Once the rocks cool down a little bit, go float and enjoy it. I'm gonna have to go start looking for stone beaches now because uh, sand is the glitter of the coast. It doesn't. It's with you everywhere, and it
Yeah.
doesn't leave you. So, like, I'm thinking, okay, this might be the way to do it. So you totally changed my outlook on the world. So, thank you so much for that. And yeah, go enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll stay in touch. All right.
Yes, for sure. Thank you for inviting me, Rusty, and give me the possibility to share my story. So
You're very welcome. And all right, well, take care.
take care. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye. All right, there we go. Look at that. $1 million advice on the public access podcast with a guy that is wearing a shirt that says, I eat cement with a cat. Don't know what the fuck this means. What does it mean? It's like double rainbow. I don't know. But I eat cement like a cat. Someone explain it to me. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does anything mean? Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you made it here, drop a comment. No one drops comments. I guess I don't tell people to drop comments. I just say, hey, listen. I don't say subscribe. I don't say like the video. I don't say give it a thumbs up. I just say that. So if you got to here, leave a comment that says, I eat cement. That way I know you're a real one. That's what's up. I know you don't eat cement. If you eat cement, that's okay. But just write, I eat cement. Then I will know you made it to the end. So thank you, everybody. You want to check me out? RustyDiamond.net has everything you could ever think of and more. So thank you, thank you. And that is the show. Man, boom!